explore the wisdom of the revered Narada Bhakti Sutras, a cornerstone of Hindu devotion, with His Holiness Swami Jyotirmayananda. Experience 45 enlightening lessons on the essence of Bhakti Yoga. Discover the path to pure love for God and transcend the material world. Embrace the teachings that have guided devotees for centuries. Attain spiritual perfection through devotion. Prepare to understand the depths of divine love. Find your path to spiritual enlightenment. Trust in the sutras. Follow these instructions. Be blessed with devotion. And now, His Holiness Swami Jyotirmayananda.
The sutras, sutra number 54, which I am partly reiterating because the subject is very profound and needs to be understood again and again. The nature of bhakti is defined. Gunarahitam, Kamana-rahitam, Pratipaksha-vardhamanam, Avichinnam, Sukshmataram, Anubhava-rupam. If you have understood it, that's great. Gunarahitam. Three gunas go to form the fabric of this relative universe. Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. Studying the gunas in relation to your own personality, that is the most practical point. Tamas, Rajas and Sattva can be described in a symbolic way. Think of a lamp, old style, oil fed. Oil is the basis. That represents tamas. Just sitting there, just a lot of oil. Rajas, when oil begins to move through the wick, so far there is no light. But then, at the wick, when it is kindled, that oil that is flowing through the wick bursts into a flame. Nature in human being, in general, stays in crude level. That is the cause of lot of stress, grief, misery, and demoniac forces. But when you learn the art of channelizing and transmuting that potentiality of your energy, which is just staying there like oil, that you are thereby evolving. You become aware of mind and its potentiality. You become aware of many ideas, many desires. But a greater state is the state when sattva begins to bring out the light of your soul. That is to say, it has reached a state where it is kindled. When you look at humanity, you find the three gunas everywhere. People who are extremely crude, demoniac. The energy is locked up in them. Same energy that could have expressed in their personality goodness, compassion, joy, kindness. The same energy now turns into anger, hate, greed, revenge. All demoniac qualities are nothing but energy that has been twisted, short-circuited. Same electrical energy, short-circuited. It's no longer pleasing. But when you correct that, the negative quality disappears. Instead of anger, there develops understanding, love. Instead of pride, there develops humility, and so forth. All divine qualities begin to develop to bring you in essential, in a short form. Even sattva relates to the world of gunas, because sattva state is variable. Only when the love of your heart, the love that you have been trying to experience, emerges out of the three gunas, that then you have attained divine love. But as long as it is trapped in the three gunas, you have to move in the world process from one situation to another, one birth to another. This is represented in Ramayana by the three brothers. Kumbhakarna was very tall, demoniac. You couldn't look at him. Look at him, his eyes are up, 4 miles up. And Ravana, you can look at him. He's a wonderful person. He has 10 heads. And Vibhishana, he is a passive personality. You entered into Ravana's assembly, you hardly notice Vibhishana. Vibhishana represents sattva. Those who know the story of Ramayana, it's easy to understand. Sita was kidnapped by the strength of these three brothers, Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. They have kidnapped your intellect. And the project in your life is to free that intellect of the influence of the three gunas. In divine plan, sattva that has been under the influence of Rajas and Tamas discards Rajas and Tamas, moves to Rama. So as sattva enters in your mind, as your mind is calm, try to trigger your focus to the transcendental self, God, Brahman. Don't use that state for perishable attainment. In other words, when sattva has entered, you are very happy. And now, because you lack the deeper understanding, you seek of God perishable things. Give me more wealth. Let me win a lottery. Let me have friends. At least let me not have gray hairs. दुख में सुमिरन सब करे, सुख में करे न कोई. Whenever there is pain, when Rajas and Tamas weigh heavy on your mind, creating stress, everybody turns to, oh God, that's too much burden. Lift this burden. Resolve this problem. The problem is resolved, and then goodbye to God. The mind doesn't turn to God. The role of God becomes passive. For a vast majority of people, that's the predicament. Whenever you see someone clinging to his mala, come to his ears with compassion, What has happened? Some tragedy must have happened. It is not viewed as something joyous. That defect in culture has to move away. The turning to God has become associated with some type of tragedy, some type of misery, where it should be totally different. And a bird has been confined in an egg. It has emerged out of the egg. And now it looks up to the sky. Looking up to the sky is something joyous. Sattva brings you into a state where you can look up beyond. And that's the beauty of sattva. That itself is a profound topic. Right now I have decided to give you very precise. So the idea to understand that pure love is experienced when all the three gunas, sattva, rajas and tamas, are transcended. But the process is not one step, it's progressive. It continues to grow. If divine love has been kindled in your heart, it will continue to grow. It has a different, mysterious impact on your mind. Firstly, to understand that it is always there in human heart, a profound instinctive urge to love God. To put it another way, to allow the diffused love that exists in your heart. You have the urge to allow that diffused love to seek out its source and shine forth. All experiences in life, all loving relations are that love that has been diffused through clouds of vasanas, subtle desires. And so you have been experiencing that love through the fabric of relations from life to life. Just imagine what you might have been in your previous life. Can be anyone. And how? What was the definition of comfort and joy? Wait for Christmas season, watch all the family come in, gather together, or during the winter, be by the fireside, hear everyone's story. And many things involved. And that's the life. At that time you thought this is the life. But you moved away from it. All that place is still there somewhere. All those souls is still, some of them maybe still survive. They may be very old. You may be even encounter them and may not have any appreciation for them. But in your previous life, your heart ached for them. Imagine the mystery. All this is pointing out to the need of discovering a heart that allows cosmic love, God's love to blossom. Love that includes all. The entire universe is God's expression. And at least it should radiate that prayer, Sarve bhavantu sukhina. May all be happy. Vasudhaiva kutumbakam. The entire universe is my family. And that is, from another angle, that is called love of God. You have discovered love of God within your heart. And that's the final discovery. So it continues to grow more and more every moment. If that commences, that process, that doesn't mean that your life will become very like a magic. Since you have started loving God and God has become more attached to you, so therefore everything you think will come out like magic. You watch, study the lives of sages. Things don't happen that way. And sages don't complain. Their lives are filled with trial. And in spite of all that, they don't complain. What's the secret behind it? If you understand that secret, then you understand divine love. Divine love is like a light. If you are in an intense, dense darkness, no matter how diffuse the light, no matter how much struggle you may have to go through in order to reach the light, that light remains most fascinating. Pratikshana vardhamanam. In spite of the varying situations in life, look deep in your heart and you are moving closer. You have become like a bee that has tasted honey. Even though it has troubles, rheumatism in its feet, still it will go on. And every moment it moves on. And if it is tasting it, now it's completely getting immersed. It's going to lose its existence in that honey. It flows in an uninterrupted succession and is subtler than the subtle. Always you move. Your experience of love, of joy, has grosser level. Then you go into subtler level. Grosser if it is confined to the sense perceptions, physical world, how people dress, how people look, how people speak. And that type of happiness coming out of loving relatives, that happiness remains gross. But when it comes to subtler level, that is a different implication. Mother's love for a child is very subtle. Looks don't count. Child may be filled with muck. To mother, he is the most beautiful one. Subtler experience. And then there is subtlest. As your vasanas begin to, subtle desires, subtle impressions become purified. You begin to have experience of touch of God. That divine touch doesn't contradict what you are handling in your practical world. That is, you are with loving relatives, you are with friends, you have your duties to different types of people. All that continues, but your feeling moves towards God in everyone. If you step up beyond the human limitation and your vision goes towards the source, God, the quality of your relationship becomes magnanimous, extremely advanced. You don't care if you are not responded the way you expect. But you have kind of a doctor's vision, looks at the patient. First thing patient says, they don't like you. The doctor is not upset because he knows this is the patient. How do you expect? So therefore, if you have divine love blossoming in your heart, your question is not to turn away from people, your responsibilities, but to change the quality. The quality becomes divine. There is more endurance, more forgiveness, more adaptability, and all that is that you do with a sense of achievement, not with a sense of being passive and sense of being forced to be humble, but a sense of grandeur, greatness. It's glorious to be humble. If you come through that stage, which is extremely advanced, but it is possible for everyone, because it doesn't depend upon external scholarship. It depends upon simplicity. It flows in an uninterrupted succession. This is portrayed by constant water flowing over the Shivalinga, Lord Shiva's form, the oval-shaped form. In the temple, we'll see water dripping constantly. The idea is same way your love should go on flowing towards God within you. It is Anubhava Rupam. Anubhav, the nature of revelation, nature of mystic experience. Mystical experience is not experiencing something that was not there before. It's just like you are looking up to the sky, clouds have gathered. There is some diffused light, but you don't see the sun. Wait, clouds have moved away, sun shines forth. All the time, what you have been seeing as diffused light, the very same diffused light is the sun as clouds move away. So nothing new has happened. Think of watching a cinema show. When you are involved with the show, the pictures move on. So many things are happening. But in between the frames, the screen reveals itself momentarily. For that screen, nothing is happening. God within you is like the screen, ever-present reality, Atman, Brahman, beyond Maya. Mind goes on creating projections. But while projections seem to obscure the screen is not absolutely obscured. There is always diffused light. In every human being, there is a diffused sense of love, a diffused sense of joy. And you are working hard to gain it. And you have, as long as mind is conditioned, limited, gain implies something to happen in the world of time and space. This process is called becoming. You were a child, you become grown up. You were poor, you become rich. You were not well known, now you become more famous. There is always becoming. But you were the self. Now you are the self. In future you will be the self. There is no becoming there. Is the being, the reality, which is always the same. Therefore, that is called Purna, Purnamada, full. All things that are sustained, the appearances that are sustained by the self, they are illusory. Therefore, there is nothing but the full. As you understand that point, another point you have to understand that the process is gradual. And you do not have to strain your mind that I have to attain liberation. Who knows how long can I live? And start calculating it and becoming tense about it. and start making research. Where is the ashram which can give me quick liberation? That shouldn't be there. Your spiritual movement should be without stress. You sit in a train and surrender to its movement. And while you surrender, don't keep the luggage on your head. प्रेम सदा बढ़िबो करे ज्यों ससी कला सुवेश पै पूनो या में नहीं ताते कबहु न शेष. It's like folk style Hindi. Love goes on increasing, just like the waxing moon. With one big difference: the waxing moon waxes up, there is a limit. This moon of divine love, there is no end to it. Comes in the realm of infinity. Purnam. No matter however much intellectual you are, it's very difficult to understand the experience that is intuitional. Remember the story of elephant being studied by blind men. The blind men were very intelligent people, and they were given the task of studying the elephant. One blind man put his hand over the trunk and said, the elephant is like a snake. If he is not a snake, this is like a snake. Another puts on the body, this elephant is like a wall, a rough wall. Another puts at the tail, says, oh, it's like a little brush. Another puts on the ear his hand, oh, this winnowing fan. Could be using it in the farming process. And the leader combines all the information. Elephant is snake plus wall plus brush plus winnowing fan. And there comes the result, end result. One who has eyes simply looks at it. He doesn't calculate. Now let me calculate. The wall, the snake, the brush, and then end up, oh, it's elephant. Try to understand. At intellectual level, you have always that problem. Collecting data, creating a resultant out of the data. In intuitional process, spontaneous. Highest devotion is experienced by intuition. That's called Mahabhav. Feeling that becomes intuitional. Same way jnana, in knowledge, reason becomes intuitional. Reason and feeling are two aspects of the same coin. Tat prapya tadeva avalokayati, tadeva shinoti, tadeva bhashayati, tadeva chintayati. Having attained that love, the devotee sees the same love, hears the same love, speaks the same love, thinks of the same love. Try to understand. If bhakti, devotion to God, has come to a great height, all limitations of the world, which are based upon your limited perceptions, and also based upon impressions that gather in the unconscious, all those limited perceptions move away. If you are in a plane and you are flying higher and higher, first you encounter a lot of clouds. As you go higher and higher, clouds move away. The vastness of expansion. Wherever you turn your gaze, there is expansion. And that's the beauty of divine love. That is reflected even in limited love of human beings. Whenever there is any higher intensity of love, all things move away from you as if they don't exist. Naturally, if God has become the object of love, the entire world becomes, it pales into insignificance, it fades away as it were. This is what Gita expresses. Lord Krishna says in the 6th chapter, Yo mam pashyati sarvatra, sarvam cha mai pashyati, tasyaham na pranashyami, sacha me na pranashyati. He who sees me referring to God, the self, sarvatra, all over, and sees all in me, for such a person, I am never lost. He cannot be lost for me. I give you an imagery to think about. All experience of the world, sustained by your mind and senses, all those experiences are illusions. It's not a matter of faith, it is not a matter of belief, it is a matter of fact. Turn to any scientific study. All that you see through your eyes are dependent upon the way your eyes are fashioned. Birds don't see the same way. There are so many animals that don't see the same way. So all that you experience through your senses, on the basis of those experiences, all that you have created in your mind, all these are reflections. Think of a lake, and so many things are reflecting in a lake. Imagine the reflections has created a samsara for you, a world process for you. Now, gradually your mind is led to understand. First point, the world you are experiencing is permeated by the lake. So try hard to understand how can it be possible. If God permeates all, how is it He doesn't hear my prayer? So there is always a sense of struggle. But even that statement, God permeates, lake permeates the reflections, is a defective statement. Because the reflections don't exist. Lake alone is the reality. And that's where your understanding is being led to. The process of understanding that begins in the confinement of the mental process is touched by divine grace, turns into intuitional process. It is through that intuitive vision and intuitive feeling you begin to understand the whole world is experienced by you through your senses. They are not realities. They are simply reflections. Just like the dream arises when you are sleeping. The entire dream is reflecting in your consciousness. Nothing happens. That's what we say. Yo mam pashyati sarvatra. You see God everywhere. Sarvam cha mai pashyati. And you see all in God. All reflections are in the lake. Lake is in all the reflection. That's intuitive experience. Once you have reached that, devotion is called para bhakti, absolute devotion, transcendental devotion. And the same is called Advaita, Keval Advaita. You have become absolutely one without a second. This state is given in the Upanishad by the termed as Bhuma. Bhuma is unconditioned bliss, infinite bliss. Yatra nanyat pashyati, nanyat shrinoti, nanyat vijanati, sa bhuma. Athaya atra anyat pashyati, anyat shrinoti, anyat vijanati, tadalpam. Yo vai bhuma tad amritam, yatha yad alpam, tan mrityum, tan martyam. Where one does not see anything, hear anything, implying there is nothing to see, nothing to hear, nothing to think about, nothing to intellectualize, nothing to reason about, where all perceptions have been engulfed by the ocean of intuitional experience. That's called Bhuma. Wherever there is something to see, something to touch, something to think about, something to attain, that's Alpam. Alpam is little. And little term, you know, in English, most times means nothing. So all the experience of love, joy, achievement is little. One thing only you have to ask, is this eternal? Can it exist forever? And it says to you, no. It's Alpam. It's a cloud that will pass away. If you want to stay happy with it, bravo. You can stay happy with it as long as your intellect stays dull. That if you have developed that sensitivity to blossom in a spiritual way, you are not deluded by duration of things. Since you are in happy situation and it is going to stay for a year and so, therefore say, why should I ask for anything else? I have everything. And the teacher says, ask about who am I? I am happy about how am I? That's the amazing fact of the world. As long as your goal is envisioned by you in the realm of time and space, something that can be experienced by your senses, something that can be enjoyed by your nervous system, you must realize that experience is nothing. But when you have discovered the imperishable love in the form of divine presence, in the form of the revelation, I am that, then you are experiencing Bhuma. You look at the world as expression of absolute fullness. No matter how the clouds are fashioned, you look up at the sky, it is an expression of perfection. No matter how the rays of the sun wander and get refracted, you look at the sun and see its perfection. No matter how the waves rise and fall in the ocean, look at the ocean. I'm giving you similes for easy understanding. The enlightened mind, in spite of the practical variations, is always aware of the absolute reality sustaining all. The Vedic verse I will relate to you. Madhu vataritayate. If your mind has become enlightened, your ego has become minimum, your unconscious is filled with positive impressions, impressions of joy, impressions of ecstasy, impressions of expansion. When the breeze blows around you, it's always blowing, madhu vataritayate. Nectar is as if blowing along with the wind. Don't take it literally, it's a sweetness. The atmosphere around you is sweet. Madhu ksharanti sindhava. And wherever you see streams, rivers, lakes, ocean, there's nothing but honey surging everywhere. Don't use the medical mind. Honey means too much. Madhvirna santoshadi. The entire earth is yielding honey. Madhu naktam. Nights are filled with honey. Moonlights are especially. There's nothing but sweetness and joy if your heart has enshrined love of God and you have become blended with God. Same as saying you have attained self-realization. And with this we conclude. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Thank you for joining us on this journey of spiritual growth. It's an honor to learn from the wisdom of Swami Jyotirmayananda. As we part for now, remember, the quest does not end. Take time to reflect on today's insights and integrate them into your life. Until next time, stay open, stay curious, stay present. The light within you is always shining.